Hey everyone, John again. I'm gonna play some Immaculate Grid here. Going for this is grid number 282. Coming off of yesterday's game where I think I hit two milestones pretty good, 47 seconds, and then I think it was 10 on the rarity score, at least when I played it. So hey, we could build off that, or we could just fail again, like I did a couple days ago. Let's find out. Let's see which players I'll use next. I'm wearing a Giovanni Gallardo jersey. There's only a couple categories he'll work for, but I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen here, and we'll hit refresh and play, and away we go. Hunter Pence works for these teams. All right. Let's see. Want to get Johnny Mize. Cool. Finley. Steve type. Yep. Uh, why am I blanking on someone for this one? Randy Myers. That's such a Gonna be such a low percentage though. John Lieber works over here. How about Morandini, Mickey, and then a 6 war season. Utley was the War King for a while there. Judge, 2022. And then I'm sure Tony Gwynn did it in 1987, among other seasons. All right, 54 seconds. With a rarity score of exactly 100. And that was a lot of low rarity scores to start. I was kind of just talking to myself as I was doing it, but like let's see here. Yeah, we've got yeah, Mize down here at 1%, Morandini at 2%. Got a nice mullet there. I don't remember him having a mullet with Chicago. That's when the Brewers moved to the Central, NL Central from the AL Central. Morandini had just signed with the Cubs from the Phillies. So I might have remembered a different guy. Lieber goes sub 8%. All right. That's some interesting ones. 6 war. I don't know. I don't I generally, I know some great seasons throughout baseball history, and I can kind of surmise that they would have high wars, but sometimes you'll just get surprised by, oh, it turns out he was terrible defensively or something like that. So that could always be tricky. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna stop share and reshare. Uh, that one and hit refresh. That was the timed round from yesterday. And now we can chill for a little bit, take our time. Um, let's see. What do we think of going? Harvey Keene hits both these teams. That's a low score. And then Frank Thomas the first hits these two teams. So I'm at 0.1 so far. Pretty good start. Cubs and Yankees. Well, actually, I've got a. Well, here's what I'll do. I'll go Fred Merkel over here. Okay, keeping it low. And then I usually have good results going with Norm Seaburn. Another choice that would work here is Don Larson. All right, we have kept it under 0.1. That's a really good start. This might be where it ends though, because the Padres are a much more recent team. And I did kind of like just kind of spew out Randy Myers there. Um, which was I think a pretty low one. I think he was around 1%. Which again, Randy Myers for the Padres always surprises me how high it is because he didn't play there particularly long. Rod Beck will work for both of these. So that's a potential option. Over at 6 war, I've got a pretty good one. Former Brewer, 1982, but not with the Brewers because he was with the Padres. And that's Sixto Lascano. No, that can't be right. Oh, I was very sure about that one. Oh man. If he had like 5.9 or something, I remember looking at that and it being a big season. Oh, that's rough. This is such an easy one too, and I was off to such a good start. I wanted to keep my streak going. I got too greedy. I got too greedy. All right. Well, let's see here. So, it stinks. Um, I feel pretty confident on Chuck Klein for his MVP season or Triple Crown season or both. Um, Rover Alexander will easily work. Well, we're thinking just old seasons here. Um, Gotta believe Robin Roberts is gonna work or Richie Ashburn. Um, Steve Carlton and Mike Schmidt seem too obvious. Ryan Howard seems like a trap. I don't think he got 6 WAR because he was such a poor defender and he didn't really run very fast. Rollins, I'm pretty sure does do it for his MVP season in 07. Utley, I already used. Not sure on Victorino, Worth, either of those guys. Halliday and Lee will certainly work. Hamels will certainly work. Chilling will work. Dykstra will work. I've listed off enough people. Let's go with Grover Alexander. 1.0. All right. And then for the Yankees, who's going to surprise us with a big year? Um, it's got to be who can we just sort of sneak in there? One guess might be like Elston Howard. Or let's go with 40 game winner Jack Chesbo. 1904 season, I want to say. All right, that goes sub one. Um, oh, I can't believe I'm at. I gotta just like look up this Six Toscana season from 1982 because it was ingrained in my memory as being this big season. Um, Now other than that, 6 WAR seasons by the Padres throughout their history. I gotta believe Randy Jones is gonna work. I think I remember seeing that Gaylord Perry's Cy Young season in San Diego was pretty low. It was like a 4 WAR season or something. So we want to steer clear of that. Kevin Brown's 1998 season will work. I'm sure Caminiti's 96 season will work. I feel pretty confident on Mark Loretta in 2004, even though he didn't have a ton of power. Being at over 330. It would very much surprise me if that season didn't get to 6. Actually, it wouldn't surprise me that much. It was probably about a 6 WAR season, so that's probably not worth the risk. Um, and then not thinking of anyone else really in the 70s. Adrian Gonzalez, I think in like 09 had a big year, 40 homer season. Sheffield's in 1992. I think that was like a 7 WAR season. If you go back and look at that one, why don't we go with that? Takes 1%. And then which of these do I want to play? Go with McCovey here, but I, I'm just kicking myself because of what a good start I had. Um, and let's see. I mean, who are some other like Padres who kind of got around a little bit? Um, like Ruben Rivera, Paul Quantrill. I don't think hits either of these teams. Fred McGriff does hit these teams. I don't think that's going to be too low of a rarity score. Kimbrel hits these teams. That's not going to be a low rarity score at all. I know Rizzo was traded from. As here's an easy way to find out. Yeah, Rizzo did not play for the Padres. What I did, he was traded for Adrian Gonzalez, and so I was just seeing, hey, did his career actually start in 2010 with a cup of coffee? But it didn't. Start in 2011. That was the year Gonzalez was with the Red Sox. So I was able to cheat a little bit just using the built-in functionality. Anyway, I've stalled long enough. It's not going to be a perfect grid. I'm just going to go with Rod Beck here. Takes 1%, 104. All right. Man, I managed to go with a lot of the obvious guys to start. I want to check out this season. 1982, San Diego Padres. Really? 5.9? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I thought I looked this one up and he was like, because the surprising part about this, the backup, so Sixto Loscano has a big year, big few years with the Brewers, but really a big year here in 1979. 414 on base percentage, wins a gold glove. I've used that gold glove before. This might be, together with like Yelich, one of the best seasons by a right fielder in all of Brewers history. A couple years later, he's traded to St. Louis and then flipped again to the Padres. And I knew all this. He was part of the trade that brought in Raleigh Fingers, Pete Vukovich, and Ted Simmons. So, which was actually, that's kind of interesting because it was a three-way trade with the Cardinals and Padres, but he was flipped to the Padres in a separate trade. In fact, we can even scroll down and look at his transaction history. But yeah, you can see it here for with Larry Sorensen for Fingers, Ted Simmons, and Vukovic. And I was wrong. It was not a three-way trade. It was Fingers was already traded to St. Louis. He just never played for St. Louis. He was traded that same offseason. So a year later, almost to the day, he's traded along with Kerry Templeton for Ozzie Smith. This guy's part of some big trades in his day. So, um, but I knew that that was a great season for him. I just thought it was point 0.1 WAR higher. If I had been right, I would have been in a good spot. But alas, only 18 seasons would have worked. I went with Sheffield at 1%, so that's a pretty good one. Loretta, I was right about. Let's see, who was I not gonna get? I actually knew about this Headley season 2012. Bruce Hurst, I was never gonna get. Machado, I should have come up with. Dave Roberts, I should have come up with. Snell, pretty obvious. Tatis Jr., pretty obvious. Tennis, that's an interesting one. I knew he had one of the best seasons ever by a Padres catcher, if not the best. I didn't know it was a 6 WAR season because as I wrote about in my book, WAR hates catchers. Greg Vaughn does it for the 1998 Padres, hit 50 home runs. Whitson, I did not realize he was that high. Winfield, no surprise. All right. Well, blew that. I mean, I was also gonna struggle with it. I was thinking of like maybe McCovey, but um, there's 128 options. I probably should have come up with someone, but um, anyway, we'll never get that chance because I botched on Six Siliscano off by a point 0.1 WAR. Oh well. Anyway, this was fun, if not disappointing. Thanks a lot for playing, and we'll be back at tomorrow. Peace.